favourite ever game. Now, some of you, if you've been with me a long time, will actually know this. Fergus will know it because I always talk about this game to him, and Carrie will know it, Earthbane. But my favourite game of all time is a game called Shenmue 2. Now, Shenmue 2 is a bit of a strange how it's turned out with Shenmue 2. The original, well, Shenmue 2 was actually released in 2001, and the producer and director of it was an amazing genius called Yu Suzuki. He was one of the pioneers of the Virtua Fighter series. Just so you know, he is absolutely amazing. And what happened was, originally, when it was released, due to exclusivity rights by Microsoft, the North American version of the game was cancelled, and it was eventually released. But when it was released, there was no English dub for it, so it was actually released in Japanese and all you could get was subtitles. And that was released on the Dreamcast. And then later on, it was released on the Xbox, the original Xbox. But by then, it had an English dub. So it was better then. And that's what I played it on. I played it on the Xbox. So I was very happy. Okay, so basically, it's about a guy called Lee Dan, who kills a kind of a martial arts master called Iwao Hazuki. And then you start the game. Well, you carry on from where the first one left off, because the first was released on the Dreamcast. And you carry on where the first one left off. You're trying to find Lee Dan, basically, because Iwao Suzuki was your father. And of course, now you're looking for revenge. You're looking to bring him down for killing your father. And the game, Shenmue 2, starts off where Shenmue 1 left off. And that's where you are travelling to Japan, because that's where Lee Dan kind of is based. So you're travelling to Japan. You've been told by some of the other people, kind of master people in your home village, to go and look up certain people in Japan, other masters and things like that who can teach you things and that. So there is action in it. You are fighting. You do martial arts fighting, but the game is mostly QTE, which is quick time events. Which is like you might be chasing someone and all of a sudden an arrow will come up on the screen pointing right, and you have to push right as quick as you can. If you don't, you might trip up over something, or like somebody might open a door on your left hand side, so an arrow points to the right, and if you don't push it quick enough, then it'll kind of make you stumble and move around the door. So you have to stop and move around the door while the person running away from you gets away a little bit. Whereas if you push it in time, you'll automatically run to the right and go past the door, no problem, and it doesn't slow you down. Yu Suzuki were one of the first to really focus a game with quick time events. So something else that which if you think about it, if you think of games like, Beyond Two Souls or, Heavy Rain, things like that we like, well, I love, because they're both in my top 10 games of all time. And they both use QTEs, so a lot of these would never have existed, I don't think, if Yu Suzuki hadn't have kind of really pushed that idea forward of QTEs. So yeah, there's some information on that for you. So I mean, I don't know what you guys think of QTEs, quick time events. Do you like them? I mean, if you've played. I'll just turn them. If you've played Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls, then you know what QTEs are. And a lot of other games have them these days. Do you like them? Do you find them annoying? I know a lot of gamers find them annoying, but to be honest with you, don't play it then. You know, because at the end of the day, QTEs are there just to add a bit more challenge to the game. You know, if you want something that's a walk in the park, I'm sure you can go and play Barbie. You know, and you should have some fun with that. You know, but that's just me. You know, it adds a certain dimension to the game and a certain challenge. If you can't take it, don't knock it. Just don't play it. It's as simple as that, really. You know, but hey, you know, again, you can discuss it and see and tell me what you think, and we all have our own opinion, which is fair enough. Okay, sorry about that. You'll just noticed a skip there, and that's because Fraps actually messed up and closed, and I didn't realise. So I carried on talking for a little while. All I was saying were that, you know, if it weren't for games like, if it wasn't for like Yu Suzuki really pushing QTEs as a way to kind of play games, then things like Quantic Dream may never have made things like Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls. So, you know, there is a good side to that. But yeah, let me know what you think of QTEs. Do they bother you? Do you like them? Dislike them? Do they piss you off? Do you find them a good challenge? Oh, it'd be interesting to find out. What else? Anyway, so people then started, but the problem was, I'll tell you what happened with Shenmue 2. It didn't get the release it should have got because it didn't get very good marketing. See, you've got to remember this is back in 2001. You didn't have big YouTubers to play it and push your games forward for you, and Steam wasn't around to, you know, do the, you know, to help push games and things like that. So it all came, and they didn't do like what, say, Assassin's Creed do now, where you'll get their advertisements come on your TV, your TV at home and on YouTube and things like that to advertise the stuff. So it all came down to just advertising in magazines and all that kind of thing, and they didn't do a very good job with Shenmue 2. In fact, they did a poor job. And the problem was that Shenmue 2 cost a lot of money to make. It was millions to make. And so, of course, they didn't push it very well, advertise it or market it well at all. So it didn't get as many sales as it really should have done. And that really made, you know, a lot of people nervous about making the third one, the final one. And but people, funnily enough, as time went on, started playing the other two and started falling in love with it, and it started to get a following, even though it was years later. Hello? Let me have a look. How bad is it? How bad? Ooh! Ooh! Oh, I'm glad I went right way. I panicked. I panicked. Where is he? Piece of crap. I nearly went wrong way. If you look at that video again, you'll see that I nearly went wrong way there and nearly walked out that way. That was so close. Oh, silly me. That was funny. I'd have been pissed if I'd have walked straight off the edge there and dropped down. It'd look such a fail. I really jumped there. It really made me jump. It did, honestly. And I nearly in my panic, utter terror, I nearly fell off. Oh, crazy. Anyway, yeah, so it started to get a big following after the fact. And by this time, there wasn't the game developer, those that owned the rights to it, which is Sega and that, they didn't have confidence in it at all. And then what they did was they made another mistake, because they brought out a Shenmue Online that only got actually released in Japan, and it actually had to close down because of lack of interest, basically. So it closed down in 2011 due to lack of interest. However, the problem was that people didn't want an MMO. They didn't want an online version of Shenmue. They wanted Shenmue. They wanted Shenmue 3. They wanted the end to the game. They wanted to know what happened after the 7-star cave where he got the sword and that kind of thing with Ling Shenhua. And it was people wanted to know these things and let Yu Suzuki tell the rest of the story, because like I say, he was the producer and the director. It came from his mind. Well, now there was a Shenmue saga actually they worked with that it was going with, but he brought it to life, and people wanted him to bring it to life. They didn't want some MMO, so nobody played it. And but they kept wanting Shenmue 3. So in 2000 and when was it? Actually, just to let you know this, in 2008, IGN Reader's Choice voted Shenmue 2. It was I think number 10 in the list of the Player's Choice of best all-time game in 2008. So IGN in 2008 ran a Player's Choice poll, and it came in number 10 as the best game of all time, Player's Choice. So that kind of gives you an idea the following Shenmue 2 had. So then they wanted Shenmue 3, and we've been waiting a long time because Shenmue 2 came out in 2001. So 13 years later, people are still wanting Shenmue 3. And this will tell you how bad it was. If we skip to 2013, there was then news that Hugh Suzuki was starting up a crowdfund where it was going to be like the fans of Shenmue would basically fund the making of Shenmue 3. Because Yu Suzuki said he could get the rights, he could secure the rights from Sega, so he could then make Shenmue 3 absolutely no problem. He does actually work for Sega still, but it's like they own the rights, and so they'd kind of decide if or when the game was being made. And Yu Suzuki has always wanted to make it, to get it done. And, so he said he could secure the rights. So he was going to do this player fun thing. Also, hello? Okay. He also discussed making a console exclusive, trading that in for funding the project. So basically making it exclusive to one console, like PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, in return for funding the project. So that was another thing. And then we skip forward again to 2014, this year, as early as like, as like early, probably about 3 weeks ago. Oh no, wait there, when was it? It was, I'm not sure when the issue came out, but in the PlayStation, the official PlayStation magazine, there was another poll taken of what games you would like to see released in 2014 on PlayStation. All done by PlayStation gamers, just by PlayStation gamers doing all the voting. And Shenmue 3 came third. So this is 13 years later, in 2014, a poll was taken, by PlayStation magazine to PlayStation gamers, and Shenmue 3 is the third most requested released game that they want. That's the wanted most. So, that kind of shows the following that Shenmue does have. And I think that just shows how impressive a game it is. I really, really would love that game to come out. I would buy a console tomorrow if it came out. I don't care what console it came out on. I would buy that console. If I ain't got it, I will buy that console tomorrow. And I've always said I would never buy a console for one game. I didn't buy PlayStation 4 for anything or anything like that. I'm waiting for that. But if they brought out Shenmue 3 on PlayStation, Xbox, I don't care what it were. You bring it out on any console, Michael's going to be there with his money in his hand to buy it. That's all there is to it. Because I want to know what happened. So I've just dropped something. I don't know what it was. Oh well. See, another good thing about Shenmue was that the locations were actually based on real locations in Japan. For instance, the game ends, the final scenes are done in Guilin, China. And Guilin, China, of course, exists. And the final scenes are done in the 7-Star Cave. And there is a place in Guilin, China called the 7-Star Caves. See? So you can check that out if you don't believe me. There is a 7-Star Caves in Guilin, China. So, and when he was in Japan, in Hong Kong, the shops might not be exactly as the shops were in Japan at the time, I don't know. But where there was a pawnbroker, he'll have had a pawnbroker. Where there was a butcher, he'll have had a butcher. You know, where there was gambling, he'll have had a gambling. And so it was based on locations that truly existed as well, which just added a nice little touch to it. The thing is, I could talk about Shenmue for absolute months and not get tired, and there is enough to talk about. It is that the story is that good, and that... Hello? You're over here. Okay. And yeah, you could talk about it that long and not get tired, trust me. But what I'm going to do is, because I don't really... all this copyright stuff still makes me nervous, and I know Microsoft can be a bit funny when it comes to copyright stuff at times. So I'm not going to post any video of Shenmue 2. But what I am going to do is I'll look on YouTube and I'll see if there's any links. And I will put some links in the description to certain parts of it that I think you'll find interesting or fun or whatever. And go and click them links, and then you'll know what Shenmue 2 is. With one thing, please don't come to me and say them graphics aren't very good. Remember what I told you, 2001. The graphics are from 2001, and believe me, in 2001, those graphics were about the best you could get. They were amazing, okay? So don't come being ignorant and saying, oh, they're not very good, because of course they're not very good to 2014 standards. It's 13 years later, okay? So just bear that in mind. But otherwise, you'll find the links, and yeah, make any comments you wish. Anyway, I'm sure this video is going to end up being a really long video, because I've talked about Shenmue a lot and a few other things. Remember, if you want to give your opinion on QTEs, quick time events, please feel free. I won't mind debating that with you. And yeah, I'm going to go. Show your love for the video if you wish, and put like or whatever, and click the like button, and I will be grateful. And remember, go and look at Carrie if you want to go and see Impossible Quiz. And yeah, we'll now be looking forward to Thief and Wolf Among Us. So that's it for me. You take really good care. You know I love you. I do. You don't believe me, do you? No, you don't. Well, I do. That's all there is to it. I do. And I'll see you guys soon. So you take care. Bye for now.